Hello and welcome to today's episode of Community Connections, airing right here on OROMIA11. I am your host, Anna Orr, and today I have the board chair of Great Minnesota Schools here, Stan Allen, and we are talking about all things taking place this Saturday during the School Finder Fair for Minneapolis Public Schools. This is going to be a wonderful episode you won't want to miss. Welcome to today's episode of Community Connections, Stan.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you are here representing Great Minnesota Schools, and you are the board chair, correct?
Yes, I am.
Now, for people that are unfamiliar with the work of Great Minnesota Schools, whether they don't have a scholar in the school system or just are unaware, can you kind of talk a little bit about what you all do?
Sure. We're a nonprofit that was established in 2015, and really we do a lot of things with the community. We partner with the community and other individuals that are interested in public education. And our goal is to make schools better, more equitable for all families. And we really are focused on certain schools that have a lot of potential for growth, as well as we provide a lot of resources and tools for families that are so they can have information to advocate for their students.
Now, you guys are currently about to have an event this coming Saturday, and it's going to be the school, Minneapolis School Finder.
Yes, we're excited to partner with Minneapolis Public Schools. They have a fair, a School Finder fair. They've been doing it for a number of years, and we've been involved for a few years now. And it's an opportunity for families to really shop for schools. There will be over 50 schools there, and so we focus on, kindergarten parents who are going to have kindergarten students. Mm-hmm. We also focus on the transition between elementary to middle school, so we have those families, and then of course the transition from middle school to high school. We also have families that they might just want another option, so they'll be looking for schools. We have schools that are traditional, like neighborhood community schools. We have independent schools that are considered private schools, and we also have charters that will be represented.
Okay. Now, that sounds really important because we know that we're at the top of the year, but we're also at the halfway point for scholars.
Yes.
And parents, I'm sure, are probably looking at grades and looking at the transition of their scholar up until this point and trying to decide if they're going to keep them in the school that they're at, or do we need to figure out a better solution.
Yes.
So I think this is going to be a wonderful opportunity to help them navigate the school system. I know it can be very daunting, especially if you're not familiar, or if you're switching districts from St. Paul to Minneapolis, you may not be aware of what's available to you and your scholar.
Yeah, I am. Previously, I worked in Minneapolis Public Schools. I was a chief of communications for 7 years. And then I had children who were in the district. And I can tell you, it's hard to navigate. It's overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And if you really don't have information, you're kind of guessing. And so what I really like about this school fair is really being able to go from booth to booth, to school, and ask questions and have all access to the information. Because here's what I know. I know that you can have a great school here, but it's not a good fit for your child sometimes. And so it gives parents an opportunity to really to look at the rigor and look at the offerings and try to find the best fit for their students.
Now, you spoke about partnering with families as well as with schools to serve the community.
Yes.
What are some of the other programs you guys are offering and different initiatives that are out there for people that are saying, watching this and going, you know what, I actually don't need to find a school right now, but I would like to plug into the work of Great Minnesota Schools, or I would love to have some support as a parent?
Sure. I have a couple of programs I think are useful. We have a school finder document or publication, and it's online too. It's the Minneapolis School Finder. And what it is, it's a directory of schools. We have all of the schools that are in Minneapolis, and what we try to do is provide all the information that we can in one document, And so it's an equity issue sometimes where people just don't have access. Some parents have access, they research, they know more than the school about the school. But we have a lot of families that they don't have time to do that. And so we put it in one book. And so now they can look everything from academic rigor, they can look at culture, they can look at languages, they can look at transportation, they can look at magnet programs. And so they really can compare schools and like I said about the fit, find out where they feel that their child will fit. And then they can go have a conversation, an intelligent conversation with the school to talk about.
I think that's important to have the tools necessary to start a conversation, because I think often you come into a space and the people that are working there know what they do. They know inside and out. But if you're on the outside looking in, you may not know the specific questions to ask or even the right people to talk to navigate some of these things. So I'm sure that document has helped a lot of families.
Yes, and I will put a promotion. You can pick up one of those documents, hard copy, at the fair on Saturday. You also can go online and get that document, but we want people to come out and just grab one and you'll have access to it.
Now, you spoke a little bit about, earlier in the program, about a high-performing school. Can you talk to us about what that actually means and what the reward of that is really for a family and or scholar?
Yeah, I think everybody wants a school that challenges their child. And not only challenge them where their student might be weak, then they customize and make sure that they're doing everything they can to catch that student up. And so sometimes it's not enough for the school just to be tough and rigor. Sometimes you need programs, you need customized programs and you have teachers that really will hone in and look at students as individuals and give each one a plan on how they can be successful. And so I think all those things make a good school a good school. Sometimes when schools are large, in some situations, there's a bar, and I think that's okay for some students because they're going to do well in any environment. But I think the majority of students need some kind of environment that's going to be good for them and not have everybody looking at everybody the same. And so you look for those things at the school. You also know if a child is interested in certain areas like art or science or music, we have magnet programs where that can be something. And sometimes all it takes is one thing to get a child motivated. And then all of a sudden they're motivated about all the topics. And so a really good school has all those features and extracurricular activities. You want to be able to be in sports or clubs and things like that. All those things make a good school a good school. And then the last thing I would say, the culture. Is it a culture of openness? Is it a culture of is it pleasant? Is it happy? Is it a great environment? Is it uplifting? Is it tough love sometimes? What's the culture in the school? And regardless of what you look like or where you came from, are you going to be treated the way you should be treated?
I think that's very important. And as we both know, representation matters. So
Absolutely.
To see someone that may look like you or that even speaks your language talk to you about something so valuable as your child's education can be quite helpful. Now, you all do not do the work alone. You all partner with the community as well as countless other community partnerships. Can you talk to me about how those community partnerships have shaped the work you all do here in Minnesota?
I really feel like Great Minnesota Schools, the staff has done a great job of engaging with the community and partnering with the community. A lot of times, I'm not saying this school district or bureaucracy, governments, a lot of times it's hard for them to engage with the community. They have a plan in place and they want to just go ahead on and do it and do things to people. Even if they think it's good, it's doing things to people. I think Great Minnesota Schools has done a great job of kind of being at having parents and having community at the table with them and having some real conversations and doing things the way that the community wants it to be done, not just the way that we think it should be done. And so the community has been critical partners sometimes, but they've also engaged us in ways that, they've influenced the school finder, they've influenced the school fair. We have a literacy program that we have all kinds of resources and tools that we provide for schools and families about literacy, because you know how important reading is. They've influenced that. They've influenced how do we engage with them to have more success with their students. And so I think everything that's been done, we've tried to partner with various entities to make sure that we don't want them to be surprised. We want them to feel like they're part of it.
I think that's very important. Now, I got an email not too long ago talking about the School Finder Fair coming up, and then I received a text message.
Okay.
But how are you guys using ethnic media and or social media to connect with families across the state of Minnesota?
You know, I can't speak in general about all, but I do know that there has been a lot of communications with newspapers and radio, and we're here, and we really are trying to do things to support newspapers, publications, or media that sometimes it's not the mainstream traditional. And so we might buy an ad here. We've been doing social media, but we've been really trying to get to where people are, reach people where they're at. And so sometimes that takes non-traditional ways of doing that. And so they've engaged, we've done paid ads and gone into community publications that we feel like people are well respected and trusted. And so that's part of the process. And the schools have helped too.
That is very important. And I think by you being here today, I hope that it opens viewers up to contacting you all and coming to the events that you guys have throughout the year so that they can start to know what's going on with their scholars directly, as well as the support and resources that are available to them. Now, are there any ways to ensure that non-English speakers are getting the same information on their scholars? We know that Minnesota is an amalgamation of so many different people here to represent the state of Minnesota, but they often may come from somewhere else and English may not be their primary language.
Yeah, so I can speak with experience from Minneapolis Public Schools. They're pretty good at making sure providing services are there. So on the fair, there will be interpreters in Spanish and Somali and Hmong, and as well as Oromo. So that should not be a deterrent. That should be something that they will be there. There will be child care there, free child care there. There will be free transportation if you go to the website. We're trying to remove all the barriers sometimes that exist and make it easy for people to show up.
I was going to say, coming out, getting Minnesotans out in the wintertime is tough, but also people that have little people with them is even tougher. So it's wonderful to hear that you guys are trying to meet the needs of the community exactly where they are.
Done a good job on that. There's also food going to be there. We know that we don't want people to come out early in the morning and not have anything. So there'll be some light breakfast and snacks throughout the day. And so we want to remove excuses. We want it to be a fun experience too.
Now, for people that are unaware where the School Finder Fair is taking place, please provide the location.
It's going to be at the Minneapolis College, formerly MCTC. I think that address is 1415 Hennepin. And so Minneapolis College, and it's going to be from 10 until 2.
Okay.
And free parking. And that's important when you have something downtown.
In downtown Minneapolis, I was going to say, that's going to get people to attend if nothing else will. Breakfast and free parking.
Yeah, so you park in the parking lot that is part of Minneapolis College, and it'll be free. It'll be free parking from 10 until 3 that day.
Okay, now is there a cost associated with this event?
It is free. We even have door prizes to try to entice people to come. We know people enjoy winning something, right?
That's
and
true.
So there'll be some drawings for free cookies from the cookie cart, but then there'll also be some free drawings for tickets to Nickelodeon, Universe, and Mall of America. That might be enough to come for some people.
I was going to say, that's going to take care of next weekend. So if they can find a school this weekend, you can go have fun next weekend.
And we all know that, in the middle of winter, it's okay to go to Nickelodeon Universe every now and then.
That's right. And take advantage of all of the amusement fun that is available out there. Now, is there any materials that parents should bring with them about their scholars or anything that they will need to bring in advance to do any of the documentation or to speak with someone, or can they just come in?
I think they should just come. I don't think they should burden themselves. I don't think you don't need to bring anything.
Okay.
If there are things that are needed, then there'll be follow-up with you. I think they should just come with an open mind and receive information. They can go to individual school booths, but then they also have like Minneapolis Public Schools, the central office will also have some booths. And so you'll be able to find out about family support services, and you can find out about transportation, you could find out about after school, summer programming, mental health services. And so I think that's a very important component of it too. Not only will you be shopping and looking at individual schools, you'll be able to see what all the services are that can help you.
I think that's really important. Lastly, how do we stay connected to the amazing work you guys are doing at Great Minnesota Schools?
Yes, since it's coming up right now on Saturday, we want to give you access to the website. Go to www.mplsschoolfair.org.
I think that's wonderful. And hopefully someone watching this is not only going to come to the event on Saturday, but also stay connected to the work you guys are doing throughout the school year. And hopefully that will start to change what they see and how they look at education as a whole for the state of Minnesota.
Yes.
Lastly, do me a favor and look directly in this camera and invite a family member to the event on Saturday.
Hello, my name is Stan Allen. I'm the board chair of Great Minnesota Schools. And we have this exciting school fair that's coming up Saturday, January 11th. We welcome you all to come. We want you, if you have an incoming kindergarten student, someone that's getting ready to enter middle school, a child that's getting ready to enter high school, this is the perfect opportunity to learn as much as you can about schools and shop around and get all the resources that are available to you. Doesn't cost you a dime, and it should be a fun event, festive event, and you'll be given so much information to make the right choice for your student.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Community Connections and sharing with our viewers the amazing work you guys are doing at Great Minnesota Schools. And hopefully you guys have an amazing turnout on Saturday.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today's episode of Community Connections. As always, I am your host, Anna Orr. This has been Community Connections, airing right here on OROMIA11 Media. I look forward to connecting again with you soon.